Hey, it's Dan. Welcome back. This is iAllegedly, and I'm on the sand today in Newport Beach, California. And it is absolutely a beautiful day. The surfers are out. People are laying out in the sun, and there is so much to talk about. First things first, the Fed has got it wrong. Again, they've been misleading us for the longest time. And this last week finally admitted that inflation is a real problem, and the supply chain disruption is only going to get worse for all of us. So before I get into it, please take a second, hit the like button, please hit the subscribe button, share this with all your friends and colleagues. Don't forget to join our email list, and let's get into it. You know, so many people have asked me, Dan, you know, what are gas prices like there? Can you take video of the local gas prices and the actual boards? So I've done that for you guys. And you guys, it's out of control. I mean, we're seeing $5 gas here in Southern California. And if you want to use your debit or credit card, it's criminal, because they're charging even more and more and more for that. So let's take a look at this. You guys wanted to see gas prices. Here you go. Cash, $4.49. Use the debit card, it's $5.39. Supreme at $4.99, $5. Use that debit card, it's $5.89. That is absolutely criminal, guys. So welcome to California, guys. It's outrageous, guys. It's just getting worse by the week. Now, before I get into it, our video today is sponsored by Callinex Mines, and we'll hear a little bit more from them later. We're seeing such a supply chain disruption on everything. And even Jack Dorsey, the CEO of Twitter and the CEO of Square, has talked about the impending hyperinflation. The story's below, but whether you think Jack is a complete kookaburra or not, Jack is a brilliant guy. Jack, not only did he develop Twitter, and it's got 206 million users right now, but he developed the pay platform Square, and that revolutionized easy pay for businesses, which led to things like Spotify and all these different companies out there. So Jack now is talking about hyperinflation in our economy for each and every one of us, and this is a huge problem. It's going to make it so that things like metals, copper, gold, silver, are just going to be a better investment in the coming months. You cannot deny the problem with the supply chain. Now, here in Newport Beach, I don't know if you guys can see the cargo ships out there, but we just set a record here in California that we have more cargo ships off our coast than we've ever had before. Now remember, this was going to be fixed a week ago, and this is a problem. It's getting worse. Now, somebody sent me, a subscriber sent me the greatest comment about this, and that in our country, we had a day where we put 70,000 troops, 2,500 ships, all these planes, everybody to work in one day, and it was called D-Day, and everything got resolved in one day. Well, you don't think that we could solve this problem? Because I do. I think the supply chain problem is an absolute ridiculous mess, and it's only killing the economy and getting worse, but it's going to make these other metals and other investments a better way to go. These supply chain constraints that we've seen, and the fact that the Fed has told us story time about inflation and that it's transitory and it's going to go away and it's no big deal, is a complete mess and basically a lie up until this point. So, you know, inflation is going to be huge, and it's going to be a huge problem, just like Jack Dorsey said, and it's going to destroy so much around us. I spoke with a manager at a Walmart and said, hey, is it going to be a normal Black Friday? And he's been with the store 4 years, and he said, well, we may only get half a dozen of the special items that will be advertised. Oh, that's interesting. So the special computer, the special TV, yeah, things like that. How many do you normally get? A few hundred normally. So if you don't see a problem with that, guys, it's only going to get worse at this point. And as far as the pricing, gas and food and everything that you're seeing on a daily basis is absolutely affecting each and every one of us and our businesses and everything that we do and how we conduct our lives on a daily basis. This video is sponsored by Callinex Mines and funded by Gold Standard Media. I'm not giving financial advice, nor am I a financial advisor, but there are things around us that are crystal clear. And when it comes to inflation, you just can't deny how bad it's getting. And we're gonna take a look at a few things with Callinex today. Their symbol is CLLXF. The health crisis has proven that we cannot print money to prosperity. It just doesn't work. Now, one thing that you have to look at is you have to look at today and the future with anything that you put your money towards. And when you look at the future, it's definitely going to involve electronic cars. And the future of electronic cars is that they use a tremendous amount of metals in there. Copper, silver, zinc. These are all products that are produced by Callinex Mines. Elon Musk himself said that he wants responsible companies to produce this product for companies like Tesla. One thing that's absolutely beautiful out here is to see the tide come in. It's absolutely stunning. Now, another thing about electronic vehicles is silver is used in electronic vehicles more than it's used in any combustible car. With the growth of electronic cars, you're going to see more and more silver in demand. Now, certain states, the country, everybody's trying to switch to electronic cars. This is only going to increase the demand for silver. Being in the medical space, silver is clearly the most popular metal for mirrors, for devices, for cleanliness, for sterilization. It's an absolutely amazing product. And this is another advantage to Callinex Mines and their silver production. I generally rely on Barron's magazine a lot for solid business advice, but here's an article where they got it completely wrong, and I'll leave it in the video description below. They're talking about how what we're experiencing in all of our lives for your business and for you and your family and your kids and everything is not runaway inflation. No. This is called messy. It's moderate expansion, supply-driven inflation, okay? And what that is because of the supply chain problem after the health crisis, it's making prices go up. And this is gonna slow down between now and the end of the year, and you've got nothing to worry about, but this is just a figment of your imagination. And the article has these tells in it that people cannot overcome, and that is people went to go make large purchases in September and put them off. Why did they do that? Well, because things were too expensive and they couldn't afford it. Well, maybe they'll come down in price. Do you really believe that? Do you really believe that that camera or that computer or anything that you have in your house is going to go down? Do you believe breakfast cereal is going to go down in price? It's not, guys. So many people send me the local circular from their stores in Des Moines, Iowa, in Indiana, and all over the place, and you're only seeing one thing right now, and you're seeing prices skyrocket for the simple things. Retiree, sitting in a restaurant, we ended up at the counter, guy next to me is a professional fisherman, talking about how he's on a fixed income and how he cannot afford his regular food, bananas, and everything that he has right now because they've gone up so much. This is affecting everybody. And if you think that this is going to slow down, you're kidding yourself, because it's going to get much, much worse, and it's happening right before our eyes. But Barron's magazine says this is just called messy. It's just a supply chain disruption. It's not a supply chain disruption. You know, I'm south right now in Newport Beach. It's not near Huntington, so you can't see the boats, but they're out there, guys. And there's over 100 right now, and they cannot figure this out. So share your thoughts on this. I really want to know what you guys think about this. And again, inflation's here right now, guys. Jack Dorsey says it's going to completely skyrocket and take off. And he used the word hyperinflation. the Fed has completely misled all of us because they know what they're doing by printing all this money and giving all this stimulus money. It has made it completely out of control. And again, you need to look at metals, you need to look at things like that that have always been a safe hedge against inflation through the dawn of time. Here's an article from Yahoo Finance. I love these because it talks about the average savings that you should have for retirement based on your age. And quote, are you normal? Okay. If you are 20 years old, it says between 20 and 29, you should have 15 grand put away. Okay, fair enough. 20 to 30 to 39, you should have about 50 grand put away. If you are 40 to 50, you should have 120,000 put away. If you are between 50 and 59, you should have $203,000 put away. If you're between 60 and 69, you should have $229,000 put away on average. Now, guys, average person doesn't have that. Average person isn't sitting on a bunch of cash. And that being said, you know, are you guys normal? Do you guys have investments like that? And again, don't you feel that we're in a tornado? You know, one thing that's been talked about lately is that California is going to get hit by a cyclone. Well, okay, we had another earthquake this morning. I don't know about the cyclone, but again, if you could prepare for the cyclone, you should do that. If you could prepare for the earthquake, which I've done, I'm ready for it, you should be ready. Well, you should be fiscally responsible and fiscally ready for what's going to happen to you. And take a look at this survey. Let me know what you think. Do you believe in stuff like this, or is this, you know, just nonsense? Okay, because I'm really curious as to what you guys think about this. It's really nice to be under the pier, get a look at it. One thing that they've done in the last year is they wrapped all the pilings with rubber so you don't see the growth of all the mussels, and it's designed to protect the pier itself. It's anticipated that the electronic car market is going to expand to almost 28 million vehicles by 2027. This is going to be a huge demand put on base metal, zinc, copper, things like that. You know, one thing that floored me recently, went to a coin shop and this guy was selling 1 ounce copper coins. I was like, really? People buy 1 ounce copper coins? And guy behind me came in and asked the guy how many he had and swooped up hundreds of them. So clearly copper's in demand, copper investments in demand, and copper production will be in demand as well. Callinex is located in Canada, and they've got some really impressive areas that they're mining out of. First thing is Manitoba. Manitoba has got gold, zinc, and silver in it. Plus, the one thing that's really impressive is that Callinex received a grant from Manitoba for $300,000 to spur the economy and to help with their mining in this area. They don't give this, you know, that kind of money, that kind of a grant, and you guys have seen us talk about grants a lot here in this channel, to a company unless they're going to be doing something. So it's really going to spur the economy there, it's going to create jobs, and it's really going to move everything forward in Manitoba. The next area is Nash Creek, and just 6.8 kilometers apart, they discovered silver in this mining. Now, one thing that's impressive about the Callinex stock is that 28% of the stock is owned by the directors and board of directors. The rest, 21%, a huge percentage, is owned by institutions. So there's a very small float available out there for you guys. And again, something under $2.50 that you can take a look at. If this interests you, look at it further. Look at the stock symbol CLLXF and take a look at it and see if it's for you. This is a great company that's also debt-free. It's got a tight share structure. It's got rich mineral assets that you should take a look at, and it's poised to really take off in the future. One thing that we all think of with the holidays are Christmas cards and packages and gifts for family members and things like that. the post office is trying to combat the problems that they had in 2020. They have added 45 new facilities and all these different sorting machines to make things 35% more efficient. Now, Louis DeJoy is the head postmaster general, and gosh, when I think of the post office, guys, don't you think of the DMV? I mean, aren't they one and the same when you think about it? That's what I think. But the thing that's staggering is the post office wants to add 40,000 more employees this year. 40,000 more employees this year for seasonal work. They're gonna pay a good wage. It's gonna be absolutely crazy. So will it work? Who knows? One thing that we normally get this time of the year, right around November 1st, right after Halloween, is when you should send your packages. You know, send it by this date and they'll get it across the country. And we haven't seen that yet, but it will be interesting to see how they're trying to combat this, because 2020 was an absolute debacle, and people didn't get some stuff until January. That was just normal mail. So it will be interesting to see what they do to combat this, if it works with the new locations and the new hirings. Share your thoughts on this, guys. I really want to know what you think about it. One thing I get a kick out of is that people from around the world reach out in the comments, emails, and send me really interesting stuff. One thing that's happening in England right now is that they are having unbelievably surging inflation right now. They anticipated through the Bank of England, through their head economist, that inflation should only be at 2%, which is preposterous. It's not. They say well over 5%, but anybody that's living in England with the petrol prices, with food, with everything else, energy, gas, everything is sky high. Now, this has created a huge problem because they're talking about potentially raising rates, and their next Bank of England board meeting is on November 4th. And it's highly likely that they're going to, in fact, raise interest rates to combat this. But will that help? Will it be enough? If they go up a quarter of a point, 1 point, is not going to be enough to slow things down right now. And a lot of people don't think so. England has got huge, huge problems. And again, it makes you look at everything worldwide, and from our Fed to their Fed to everything that we're seeing, and all the problems. It's only getting worse. I personally think that inflation here is like 16%. I think unemployment, I think, is absolutely catastrophic and well over 20% right now, and nobody wants to admit that. But England is seeing the same thing. They're having the hiring problems. They're having the businesses go out of business left and right. And that's what we're seeing here too. That's the other thing, is that small businesses here right now, there are so many articles being sent to me about areas regionally where the small businesses are finished right now. They cannot make it without the stimulus. They cannot make it with the supply chain issues. They cannot make it with the inflationary problems that they're having. A lot of restaurants now are being held responsible to, in fact, pay their rent. Wow, what a crazy thing. And they can't make it. We're seeing restaurants go out of business here left and right, and these people cannot work at 40% capacity. And it's a beautiful sunny day here, so we don't have the problems with weather that other people have, but still you have to have people with money that can afford things, that can go out and spend it at restaurants and things like that. And they're seeing this worldwide. They're seeing the inflationary problems and the supply chain problems wreaking havoc on small business around the world. There's a great article out of Yahoo Finance about the pros and cons of waiting out the real estate market. Should you buy now or should you wait? And I think if you can just read the writing on the wall and how bad things are, I think waiting is the best thing, because you're starting to see real problems with the real estate market. Now, with that being said, if you plan on living in this house forever and you have got a substantial amount of money and a large down payment, and you can afford the house and it can rent out for what you're selling it for right now, go buy yourself a house. Have at it. Now, that being said, most people don't do that. They put down as little as possible. they squeeze into the house, and they hope the monthly payment's gonna stay the same during the life of the loan and that they're not gonna have to fix the house up or do anything, which we all know is impossible. Now, what we're seeing here in Southern California in an elevated market, and this is what I get a kick out of, the average house across the country is $356,000. Now, I walked you guys by some crazy real estate, and we were at that island the other day with $9, $12, $15 million houses and all that stuff. But $356,000 for the average house would not buy a condo in some of the worst areas in Southern California. It just would not. Now, is it crazy? Yes. Is it not? You know, we have low property taxes, but you're seeing real problems with this. Now, what we're seeing though on the market is this. You're starting to see more houses fall out of escrow right now. In fact, a friend of mine, her neighbor had their house listed for $1 million. 3 weeks into escrow, the thing fell out of escrow. Got to start the whole process over again. And again, you'll see price reductions. You'll see problems galore now because the buyers are getting more savvy as these problems persist. And again, do you want to spend your life in a payment that if something happens, if you have a hiccup, that you're going to potentially lose the house? People are saying no to that. So share your thoughts on that. Let me know. I'm going to close this out with some more information on our sponsor, Callinex. And the CEO, Max Porterfield, he's the founder, CEO. He's all in on this investment. First things first, he owns over 4% of the outstanding shares in the company, which is a huge positive for any investor that you look at. Does management have a stake in the company? And Mr. Porterfield absolutely does. Now, when you look at metals and you look at the conductivity of things like copper, the only thing that's better than copper is silver, and the increase in silver is going up. With their mining and with everything that Callinex is doing right now, it makes it an exciting investment opportunity to take a look at. Now, Callinex is already mining zinc, and it is the 4th used metal in the entire world right now. And when you look at the Internet of Things with devices, you cannot deny that silver is going to be increased in the need in the coming years. Right now, we use about 7.5 million ounces a year. It's going to increase to 23 million ounces a year by 2030 alone. Just based on the existing usage right now, phones, electronic devices, and everything else, not counting the medical devices that are used. Now, when you look at the electronic car market, and let's just use batteries alone, zinc is a low-cost storage device that protects the steel in the batteries. This usage will only increase some 350% over the next few years. It is anticipated that the average electric car uses 180 pounds of copper. Tesla used 45,000 tons of copper in the last year. Absolutely amazing when you guys think about that. Don't forget to take a look at Callinex. If it's for you, see if it is. Again, I don't give financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. Please don't forget to hit the like button. Please hit the subscribe button. Share this with all your friends and colleagues. Take a look at Callinex, our sponsor, at CLLXF, and I will see you guys very soon.